What's going on, guys? I am out in the middle of the woods, up north Ontario, Canada. But even yesterday on my way up, I had to pay attention to what was going on because the Texas Pro was such a big show and everybody's waiting for Andrew jacked and everybody wanted to see what was going on. So I had to pay attention even though I was up here doing my thing. So I just want to make a couple quick notes. First, we are always very quick to talk about shows and how they're run. I just want to say congratulations to Freddie Nadeau for his work on the show. The lighting at the Texas Pro last year and this year is just better than everybody else's. Whatever Freddie is doing, everybody needs to take a page out of that book and get the lighting at their shows to be that good because everybody looked incredible. That being said, all the guys actually did look incredible. We'll start with Andrew as a standout. I was waiting for him to step up and see what he looked like next to all the other guys. He lived up to the hype. He is a big guy, very aesthetic, very pleasing shape. There's a couple areas that I'm obviously going to nitpick because that's what we do. Forearms are a little thin through the arm because his shoulders are so big. His arms are giant, but his shoulders are so big, makes his arms look a little weird in some areas. But overall, just outstanding. I still think my original commentary stands. I think for a guy that big, if he wants to be the best at the Olympia, I think he needs a better back. Now, that being said, Rami also has an issue with his back, so it doesn't mean he can't be Mr. Olympia. But with guys like Nick coming up, Nick's got a phenomenal back. Brandon Curry's got a phenomenal back. Hottie's got a phenomenal back. I think that might be an issue that might be exposed for Andrew. But we're talking about the top 5 at the Olympia, and this is his rookie year. So, and I could be wrong because when he stands next to people, he seems to expose their weaknesses as well. So, absolutely phenomenal outing for Andrew. Crazy quads, really thick. Abdominal structure reminds me of Nick's as far as like the thickness of the abs and how detailed they are. He not only does he have a small waist, but that ab structure really like helped him overcome everybody else as well. So that whole front face where the chest, abs, shoulders, that entire package together is pretty unbeatable, and then it flares out into these massive quads with a great sweep. So very impressive, very good outing. Of course, everybody knows it, and we'll see how he fares at the Olympia. It's going to be interesting. And he's got the Arnold UK coming up, where he's going to stand next to James, and then you're going to have two totally different physiques, with James being extremely thick and round, and Andrew being more aesthetic. So it'll be another test to see where he stands. Moving on, Martin, shocker. Well, not a total shocker because Guy kind of showed us a couple videos the day before. I thought he would be 4th. I still am on the fence about 2nd. I think he could have been 3rd. Kuclo was pretty good, but Martin does have a much better back than Steve, and his legs were thicker, especially from the back. So I do see the nod for Martin. Congratulations to him and Branch for like just complete transformation from a guy who had a great physique, who just couldn't nail it, to a guy who's fully realized his potential. So he looks like he's got a lot in the future for him, especially if he sticks with Branch and doesn't, deviate from that coaching style and from what him and Brian are working with him on. 3rd, we had Kuclo. Listen, I thought Kuclo was incredible. I'm a little biased. I like Kuclo's physique. I think the biggest problem with Steve is this. So the strong points are this. Great chest, great shoulders, good quads, amazing condition. I thought his condition was really, really good. Side shots were good. Glutes were hard. Back shots were good too. Like hamstrings were stripped. The back itself in the back shots is a little thin, and that's definitely his weak point and always has been. I think this is the main issue with Steve. I think he was really, really good, and he placed top 5 at the Olympia, and he hasn't changed much since then. In fact, maybe he's gone back just a touch, and that's not how the IFBB works. These hungry guys like Andrew and Martin and Joseph Mackey and all these guys that are coming up, they're chasing. They're trying to get to the top. And I feel like Steve remains the same throughout his off seasons and then just nails it down for the show. And I could be wrong about that, but that's what it looks like, because I don't see a progression. I don't see the back getting better. I don't see the body getting thicker in any way. I don't see something new that he could bring to the table that is going to catapult him above guys like Andrew. So I think Steve's issue is more of an off-season buckle down issue, and that's just from the outside looking in. That's just kind of what I see. But as far as his physique goes, I don't think it's changed very much. It's still incredible. Moving on from there, we had Kamal. Kamal, amazing as always. I just think in a lineup like this with, those heavy hitters at the front, that with all that muscularity, there's not much to say about Kamal. He's very complete. Conditioning is very good. I just think with that level of muscularity in the first, second, third, and I even might have put Quint ahead of him. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't see the live stream. I'm just going by some photos. But it's just a little too much, I think, for a 212 guy. But Kamal still did very, very well. He still beat a lot of guys that were very good. So congratulations to him. I just think it's going to be hard for him to overcome some of these guys with more muscularity. Moving on to Quint, my personal, subjectively only, not bodybuilding criteria, favorite physique in the lineup. It's crazy because I always thought Quint was really big and wide, and Andrew actually made him look a little smaller than I thought he could. So it just shows to show how big Andrew is. But Quint, I have to give him props. Him and Dorian Hamilton, his coach, they took all the notes from Tampa, came back to Texas. I think this is the best Quint we've ever seen. Conditioning was incredible. Everything looked separated. Fullness was really good. The package he brought was really good. His posing looked better in some of the videos I saw. So Quinton's on his way. Quinton's only 26, 27 years old, I think. So I still feel like Quinton has the most potential in the IFBB to be a dynasty Mr. Olympia if he can just thicken up that torso. But yeah, I think, and if we, like I said, if we're going to go from positive to negative on each guy, I think the knock on Quint would be his torso thickness just is not there. I mean, he could use more thickness overall, but majority of it is in that chest to back thickness when you turn to the side, or even just looking front facing when you put the arms up for a front double, or when you put the arms up for a back double, the back kind of disappears and the chest kind of flattens out. So that front to back thickness is really what Quinton needs to work on this year. So anyway, guys, look, the show is incredible. I just wanted to touch on the top 5. I didn't get to see too many pictures of the other guys. I think I saw some pictures of Nate Epler, who looked incredible at 222 on stage. Congratulations to him for trying to get into the open and see where he lands. Hopefully he'll have a good outing next year. Joseph Mackey looked incredible again. I just think in this lineup, Joseph has an incredible physique for muscularity, and his conditioning was great. I think where Mackey is going to struggle is in a structural context, because structurally his body doesn't line up. And for those of you who don't know too much about, the intricacies of bodybuilding, when I say structurally, if you look at Andrew or Quint or even Martin and Steve, or even Kamal, even for his height, they all have a wider shoulder structure, a wider clavicles into a more narrow waist with the flaring quads. And when you look at Joseph, I think one of the issues is the clavicle width is not that big. So what he has to do is kind of pull a Phil Heath, where he overdevelops the delts to really add more width to that frame. And I think that will help him overcome some of these guys next year and really get him in the mix, because he's got a great physique and a ton of muscularity. The conditioning was awesome. So just to kind of highlight that a little bit before I go. So we have the Olympia coming up next, not next, but this year. Now we have a new entry with Andrew. I know everybody's talking about Mr. Olympia, and there's a lot of people think Andrew could be Mr. Olympia. Maybe he could be. I'm still, look, I think he's incredible. I think he's absolutely amazing. I think he was everything he was hyped up to be. I'm going to reserve judgment on saying he's going to be Mr. Olympia, because I do think there's some really exceptional physiques. I mean, when you talk about Nick and Brandon and Rami, and even in the UK going up against Mark Hector and James, I think it's not going to be a walk in the park. He definitely beat some good bodybuilders at the show, and he's definitely shown himself to be a formidable opponent that looks to be in the top 6 at the Olympia. Definitely top 10. I would never say he's outside the top 10, but to be in the top 3, top 4, I'm going to reserve judgment on that one. Not saying you can't do it, just going to reserve judgment. It's one of those things you have to see. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Sorry for the, well, maybe not sorry. Maybe this new scenery is a good thing for the channel. Like, lightens it up a little bit. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys on the next podcast. Monday, check out Hani Rambod. Thanks.